Hello boys and girls, good afternoon and welcome to Critical English for Grade 8. Good afternoon Alia, good afternoon Shamar, and how are you today?
Okay.
You're okay. Alia, how are you?
Okay.
Had a good day? No? Alia don't ever seem to have a good day. Alright, so the last time we were here, before we were knocked out by GPL, and we were looking at simple sentences, and then we were to look at compound sentence. Yeah, so we're going to continue with that lesson. So the last time we looked at some sentences and we determined that those sentences could not be simple sentence because Shamar.
When they were not simple sentences?
Yes. Why weren't those sentences simple sentence?
Because they had two subjects, two subjects
And let's look at an example. In the section A, we had Paul and Charles were sorry when John told them about it. So we've got two subjects. Of course, we have the compound subject, Peter and Charles. You found it? 162. Alia, you have it in your phone, and you have to sit close to Shamar so you can sort of share. Yeah, if you can angle it, Shamar, a little, or if we can have another preprint for us in the studio, that would be so kind. Good. And so we said that those sentences could not be simple sentences because they contain what? They contain two subjects and two
idea.
verbs, main verb, to be specific. Yes, main verb. And so because of that, they did not qualify to be simple sentences, to be a simple sentence. But when we look at compound sentence, and we're going to talk about that, we're going to see how that, instead of being simple sentences, they would qualify to be compound sentence. All right? Now, what are compound sentences and how do we form them? Do you know? Alia, let's hear from you.
A compound sentence is a sentence with two subjects and two main verbs.
Two subjects and two main verbs. So what do you think we put together to form a compound sentence?
A compound word?
A compound word? Not necessarily. So let's examine the question that we had, yeah? Let's look at it. Peter and Charles were sorry when John told them about it. All right, so let's look at the sentence. Can you identify any simple sentence?
Simple sentence.
So tell me where to draw and where to stop, yeah? So where do I stop to identify a simple sentence? Tell me where to stop.
At sorry.
So these are two simple sentences, aren't they? Yeah?
Yeah.
They're simple sentences and they are joined here using the word when. All right? So compound sentences are joining two simple sentences. Yeah? Because when we combine these two and they are And we're not just joining sentences, simple sentences like crazy. We've got to make sure that these simple sentences are related, right? So that they support the main idea, which was what? There's a sentence before that. What's the sentence before that?
John quarreled with Mary.
John quarreled with Mary. And these two sentences tells us about that quarrel, isn't that so? Paul and Charles were sorry. Why were they sorry? They were sorry because John quarreled with Mary. And not only that, when John told them about it. All right? So the two sentences, although they are simple sentences and we can break them down into simple sentences, they are speaking about one thing. All right? One main idea. And there are going to be some sentences in your writing where you have, and one of the purpose of compound sentence is to add a different style to your writing. So you don't want to be writing, let's say especially in essay writing, to write Peter and Charles were sorry, full stop. John told them about it, full stop. He was very upset, full stop. Do you see what's happening there? Right? So instead of having an entire paragraph filled with simple sentences, we can join these simple sentences using compound sentence conjunction so as to make compound sentences and add flair to our writing. Because ultimately, we want to make sure that when we are writing with style and finesse and these kinds of things, yeah? We're not just writing to write simple sentences. And our essays must have diversity of our sentences. So we must use simple sentences if there needs be, but we must also use compound sentences. All right? Good. So let's talk about how we go about forming these compound sentences. So, as you would have noticed in your handout, it says a compound sentence is one that is made up of two or more simple sentences that have joined to form how many sentences? One. And so it can have more than one subject and verb, and that is why when we look at the exercise from last week, we realize that it is on those premise that those sentences that we eliminated from the pair could not qualify to be simple sentences. Yes?
Yeah.
All right, good. So how do we go about forming compound sentences? Let's look at these two sentences and see, and I want you to form them to combine them or to join them to form a compound sentence. So the two sentences that you're joining would be, we came from afar. We came from afar. So this is sentence one. 1, 2. Our host, HOST, invited us to spend the night. All right, go ahead. What can we use to join these two? So instead of having two sentences, we can do what? Of course, remove this. Remove this. We can add what here? Comma. So our host. So now the sentence becomes one sentence. We came from afar. So our host invited us to spend the night. And now we have one sentence instead of two simple sentences. All right? How do we go about forming compound sentence? Now there are about two ways that we're going to look at. We're going to look at two ways to form compound sentences. And the first one we're going to talk about is by comma. All right? So how to form compound sentence. How to form compound sentence. Good. So the first thing we're going to look at is by a comma. Now how do we go about doing that? When we look at two or more simple sentences, we join them using conjunctions such as and, for, so, but. Now, have you ever seen this before? Yeah, Alice said yes. What do they mean? So this is an acronym, right? Yeah. This is what we call an acronym. And acronyms are used as a learning technique to help us to remember things. Now, this is an acronym for the coordinating conjunction, which are commonly used to form compound sentences. All right, so these are the coordinating conjunctions. Sometimes in other cases, in rare cases, we have other conjunctions, but commonly these are the conjunctions that we use to join simple sentences to form compound sentences. So do you want to make a guess what the F may stand for, could stand for? Yes, Alia? Say it with confidence, even if you're wrong. That's fine. For, correct. Nicely done. What about A? Shamar, what do you think A can stand for? And. So we're catching on, yes. N. Yes. Conjunction. So remember I was telling you about the importance of revising your part of speech, yes? See why? N stands for nor. What about B? I wanted to go to school. But. This is a big one. Nor. These two usually come in pairs. Or, yes. What about Y?
Yet.
Correct. And the last one, we've already used it before. So this is an acronym for the conjunction, the coordinating conjunctions that are commonly used to help to join two simple sentences to form a compound sentence. So take this down, remember it, and commit to memory so that you remember that anytime you see compound sentences, you're thinking about using fanboys. If it can, if not, then you've got to resort to another conjunction. All right? But these are the common conjunctions to join the compound sentence. So what do? We have two simple sentences, and we must use the comma to join the simple sentence before we add the coordinating conjunction to join those sentences. Let's look at the example. Example. Our sentences are: the cat climbed onto the roof And our second sentence is the bird flew away. Full stop. Now let's join these two simple sentences to form a compound sentence. So tell me what to do. So the cat climbed onto the roof, and because this is sort of a pause in the thought, yes? Isn't that so? And so what should we use?
And
A comma. A comma, and then we use one of the coordinating conjunction. So which of the coordinating conjunction do you think will best join these two sentences together?
and
So?
No. The cat climbed onto the roof. The bird flew away. So he's trying to catch the bird, but by the time he climbed onto the roof, the bird flew away. I actually told you the answer. But, very good. But the bird flew away. So one way of joining it is using comma with the conjunction. So whenever we use a conjunction to join the sentences, we must use the comma. All right? Moving on. So do we understand that?
yes,
Yes,
miss.
If we're going to use conjunctions to join our sentence, then we must use the comma after the first simple sentence before the conjunction. All right? Moving on. The next way we can use, we can form compound sentence would be by a semicolon. And if we are using a semicolon, then there is no use for the coordinating conjunction. No use for conjunction. All right? Example. Let's look at the sentence. The Bank of Congress is the largest bank in the world, semicolon. It is, sorry, no contraction. It is the headquarters of all banks. So this is another way that we can present our compound sentence, by the use of the semicolon. And once we've used the semicolon, we do not need to use a conjunction. All right? So do we understand the two ways to form our simple sentence, our conjunction? Sorry?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
All right. Take a minute to copy, and then we're going to talk about next. Why do we use, and we've already started to talk about that, why do we need compound sentences and how to recognize compound sentences. Are we done? No, still writing. Could I talk and you write? Yeah? Could I discuss why we need, are you finished?
Yeah.
All right, good. So why do we need compound sentences? So it says a compound sentence allows for better sentence structure. So I was talking to you about that instead of just having a whole lot of simple sentences. So it helps us to have better sentence structure in our writing. In compound sentences, two or more sentences are joined because their thoughts and ideas are closely related. So it would make sense for us to combine these sentences whose thoughts or ideas are closely related into one sentence as against just having them dangling about as their own sentence. Yes? Do you think that would make sense?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So how do we go about recognizing a compound sentence? How do you think we will go about recognizing a compound sentence? What are we looking for? We're looking for a subject and a main verb. So let's look at this. What is the subject here?
It's the Bank of Congress.
Congress. So this is the subject. What is the verb?
The largest.
Haha, funny. Yes, Jamar. Very funny. What is the verb? Remember we did verbs and we did state of being verbs? And we did, So what word is linking the Bank of Congress to the largest bank?
Is.
So this is remember, the verb is linking, right? And this is, so the Bank of Congress is the largest bank. So we've already identified our one subject, yes?
Yeah.
One verb. Do we have any more subject in this sentence? Yeah?
The headquarters of Bank.
Is the largest bank in the world. It is the headquarters of all banks.
The largest bank.
The largest bank, is that a subject or would that be what? What would that be? Object, yes? Object of the verb is because it's telling us what it is, right? What is the Bank of Congress? The largest bank, isn't that so? Good. So what are we looking for? 8. Remember, subjects can be either pronouns or nouns. Yes? Nouns or pronoun. The Bank of Congress. Remember, this sentence is related. So it in this sentence is referring to what? The Bank of Congress. Yes? It is. So we have another subject and we have another verb. And our simple sentence must only have one subject and one main verb. One of the things we've got to be careful though, not to confuse our compound subject with compound sentence. So remember we did compound subjects, two subjects joined by and. For example, we could have had an example would be roti and curry, right? So this is, roti is something separate from curry, but we put them together, isn't that so?
Yes,
And we get a compound subject. So in order for us to identify a compound sentence, we must have two subjects and two or more verbs. All right? Okay, so let me give you an exercise. So you have your activity sheet, and we are completing the last sheet, the last page on the sheet. So the instruction says to identify the compound sentence in each pair of sentences given below, and of course, so you're going to identify. So in A, would 1 or 2 be the compound sentence? B, C, D, and E.
So you just choose which one?
Yeah. In the interest of time.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can do group work for this one, and sort of work together to figure it out. Yeah.
This one.
Wait, isn't A telling us it?
Yeah.
Oh, A is done for you. My bad. Sorry. A is done for you. So you're doing B, C, D, and E.
B, the ship.
Shamar is such an honest student. He's like, oh, Miss, isn't A done for us? Yes. So B, C, and D.
Ship rescue song without the trees. The ship song without the trees. So
I think this one.
ship sunk without trees, so did it crew. The ship, subject, the cruise with the subject and the verb.
And this crew. And the verb will be sunk. This one is verb. Alright, traces the next one.
Okay, see, the T was claimed at first, then it grew, then it was.
Then you go restless.
And the C was calm at first, then restless. Okay, the C was calm at first, then it grew down. Probably the first one. I wish you a happy birthday and you receive a
lot of presents.
I wish you a happy birthday with lots of presents. Probably,
All right. Are we done?
subject, not quite.
A minute. Nothing
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Subject could be you. You and you.
And we should be divided.
But you and you is one person.
Good point. So which means that that's not a subject. All right, let's do them. Good. So in the first pair, what do you have?
B, baby.
The ship.
The options are the ship and its crew sank without a trace, or the ship sank without a trace, so did its crew. What do you have?
The second one, the ship sank without a trace. So did it crew.
Very good. So that's correct. And we have more than 2 verbs there, yes?
Yeah.
C. The sea was calm at first, then it grew restless. Option B. The sea was calm at first, then restless.
The first one, the sea was calm at first, then it grew restless.
Yes. So then restless does not, the second one doesn't have a second verb. Yeah?
Yeah.
I wish you a happy birthday and that you receive a lot of presents. I wish you a happy birthday with lots of presents. 1 or 2?
Me, I might go with 2. I'm not really sure.
What will you go with, Talia?
1.
1 is correct. I wish you, I, subject, wish, verb, you a happy birthday, and that you, subject, receive, verb, a lot of presents. So 2 subjects, 2 verbs. Yes?
Yeah.
Mom attended my school's graduation ceremony, and she was the prettiest mother there. Mom was the prettiest mother at my school's graduation ceremony. What do you think?
The first one.
First one, correct. All right, so let's recap quickly what we did. So today we continued with compound sentences, and we said that compound sentence is what?
A compound sentence is a sentence but with two subjects. So 2 subjects and 2 main verbs.
Anything other than that? There are 2 sentences that are joined to form 1 sentence because they have closely related what? Thoughts and ideas. All right, and what are the 2 ways that we can form compound sentences?
With a comma and
With a comma, semicolon. So what's the rule regarding comma? We use the comma when?
When you're using conjunction.
With a conjunction, and we use a semicolon when we are not using a conjunction. All right, and that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please stay tuned for math, and I will see you next week.
Friday.
Good afternoon, boys and girls, and welcome to Critical Mathematics for this afternoon. This afternoon, we're going on a new and different topic for this afternoon. But first thing, I'm going to give you a scenario, and you'll say what you get out of it, right? So, Mary and John attends the same school, and ever so often you might find Mary and John, they're in different classes, but every time their break, the school has break or so, they would find themselves probably talking. When they leave, when the school is over, they would walk home together. And ever so often you would always find them probably somewhere together, and always probably smiling at each other and talking that no one else can hear, right? And you probably would have been observing. What could you tell me about Mary and John? Huh? Pardon me?
Nothing.
Nothing? Yes. Tell me something about Mary and John.
They're related.
They're
Related.
related.
They're friends.
They're friends. All right, they're related. Keep that word. Right? Or, as young teenagers, what might you, yes.
They're in a relationship.
They're in a relationship, right? They're sharing some kind of common interest or something like that, right? So we have relationship there. Good. All right. Another scenario. Your family member had a gathering, and at that gathering, you had lots of things to eat and drink, and probably it's formal dressing, you know, and place nicely decorated, formal seating arrangements, finger foods, and all those nice things. It's not, you're not gonna, it's not to say it's a wedding or a party or even a funeral. You know that some people just dress up the place for funeral and so, but you can call it something else. What can you call it? Generalize it.
Gathering?
Okay, not gathering. So it's like your family have a something. It's a general statement though, not specifically saying that it's a wedding. It could be a wedding, but you can call it something and not say a wedding. Begins with what? F. Begins with F. So when last we did hangman, we know about hangman?
Yes.
That game? Okay, good. Shamar. Letter. Huh?
A.
A?
Yeah.
O.
O?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Shamar. I?
C.
C. with my CB. Anyway, let's go. I'll say something just now.
Friction.
Pardon?
Friction?
Friction? So when your family have a wedding, so they have a friction?
No, I spelled it.
What would they have?
Again, T.
What would they have?
It has an T.
A T? Okay. All right, Shamar.
Probably N.
N. And we have to say all those things to get it.
Function.
A function. So you never heard someone said we have a family function? No?
It's a function, but never a family one.
Okay, all right. Yes, and they would say sometime a gathering. So we had a what before?
Relationship.
Relationship or relation. And we have function. So what do you think we're looking at this afternoon? Quickly.
Relationship function.
Function and relation, or relations and functions? All right, so we have relation, and functions. Good. So our relation in mathematics is basically a set of order pairs. What do I mean by a set of order pairs? For instance, 0 and 1. This is an order pair. There's a pair. The 0 would be represented by the x and the y values, or we might want to say the domain and the range. Right? I can have another order pair, as in 5 and -2. Right? And I can have several order pairs. Okay? So that will create the relation between the x values and the y values. Right? As I said, and the set of order pairs, you have a set and it's a pair. Set, and we can have several going on the line, right? Then we have the function. The function basically is a specific relation, right? The relation can come in any order or in any way. The function have a specific way that you have to place it. So, I'm taking this. Under the function, for this afternoon we will look at mapping. We have 1, 2, 1 mapping. 1 to 1, I am saying to you, I'm going to use this diagram here, and we have 1, 2, 3, and this one here. I will call this my range. As I said to you, we're dealing with the range and the domain. Sorry. The domain and the range. The domain is where we're starting with, the range is our result. So say for instance we have 1 will go to 2, 3, 4. So the value here will map onto one of these. This value will map to 1 and this value will map to 1. 1 to 1. We can only map them to one element from the domain must only be mapped to one element in the range. One element in the domain must be mapped to one element in the range and no more. So we call this a one-to-one. You would recognize also one arrow going one place, moving from one point and going to 1. So as young people, our older folks would always advise us to, when we're in a relationship, right, we must only have one friend, if we want to say that, or one partner. Agree? Agree, Shamar? Or should we have many? One. So one boy to one girl. 1. Right? So that is a one-to-one mapping. Now, do you think you can remember that?
Yeah.
1-to-1?
Yes.
1-to-1. All right. Then we have many to 1. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So if we're doing many to 1, how can I map from the domain to the range?
Most of the two or more of them on the domain can go to the range.
Good. So we could have 2 or more going here.
Yeah.
Good. So many going to 1, and we can still have 1 going here, but the majority is many going to 1. See that, Shamar?
Yeah, man.
Many going to 1. Although we have 1 to 1 here, the majority would have many to 1. Good. So what's the first one?
1 to 1.
First one?
1 to 1.
1 to 1. This one?
Many to 1.
Many to 1. So we have 2 there. Could we remember that?
Yes, miss.
Sure.
Yes, miss.
All right. So we had 1 to 1 and many to 1. What do you think we could have now?
Many to many.
Okay, many to many, but just before many to many.
1 to 1. Many to many.
1 to many. A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 1. Let's take this one back out. Good. So we have 1 going to many. I don't want to confuse it as yet. One of the items in the domain going to many in the range. Right? 1 to 1, many to 1, and 1 to many. And as Aliyah said just now, we have
Many to many.
many to 1. So we have X, Y, Z. Is that correct? Many to 1.
No, miss.
What is supposed to be?
Many to many.
Many to many. Great. So we have 1, 2, 3. So this gets a little confusing when we map it now. So we map X to 1, we go in many to many, x to 2, y here, y here, right? So we'll have many coming from here, going to many here. It's not going to 1 or 1 or 1. 1 is not going to 1 or it's or only what I should say. 1 is not going to 1. Many of them are going to many of the other side from the domain and from the range. Think you understand?
Yes.
First one.
1 to 1.
1 to 1. Second.
1 to many.
1 to many. Third.
Many to 1.
Many to 1. Fourth.
Many to many.
All right, good. So these are mine now. So you are responsible for coming now on the board and putting some things on, right, in your own method. So we have we name this X, we name this Y. X would be the domain, Y would be the range. Alright? So I'm also including something else into the first one. Alright? What am I including? I'm saying for the values of X, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, say 1, 2, 3, 4, would create to get to Y. So for every X to get to Y, to be mapped to Y, you have to multiply by 2. Right?
Yeah.
Good. So you will come and put this answer in it and then map it. Think we understand?
Yeah.
Sure? You're afraid? Why? All right, let's do it together. We're mapping from X to Y through this expression 2X. So if we have the value of X is 1, what would he get here? The value of X is 1. What would we get?
2.
Yes. Would give you 2,
4,
4, 6,
8.
8. And that would create a,
A 1 to 1.
what would it create? A 1-to-1 mapping. Agree?
Yes.
We don't have any 2 values coming over there. Right?
Yes, miss.
Good. So, I'm going to give you another scenario here. 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. And we have here 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I would like you, Alia, to give me mapping from your domain to your range, creating a many to 1. So you're creating it for me. Many to 1.
4, 4,
4 to.
4.
Okay.
4 to 2.
4 to 2.
3 to 3.
Where? What do you say?
3 to 3.
Then to 3.
Not,
Many to 1, right?
yeah, and then 1 to 2.
We creating a many to 1 from here. How much we used to go? How many places we went here so far?
2.
2. And how much we left from?
1.
So what we created there?
A 1 to
Good. So what we want?
1. Many to 1.
Many to 1. So let's go again. No problem. Good. Start again.
6 to 3.
6 to 3.
3 to 6. 3.
3 to 3.
4 to 3.
4 to 3.
5 to 1.
5 to 1.
You still have 1 more. 5 to 4.
5 to 4. Sure? Let's take that one out. So we would have just created a many to 1. We need many to move from your domain to go to 1 in your range. Right? Shamar, let's have a 1 to many. We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. 1 to many.
A to H.
A to H.
A to E.
A to E.
A to F.
A to F.
B. B to G.
B to G.
B to E.
Sure you want to go B to E?
Could it still like go back into it even though?
We can leave it like that.
Okay.
Right? But we would also want to ensure that all of these are taken up. Right? So what we can do here, or I can even eliminate one for you. So we have those two. We have here. We have here. Right? But we still have 1 going to many, despite we have 1 going to 1. Right? So here I'm creating another x plus 2. 2, 4, 6, 8. Answer.
4,
4,
6,
6,
8.
8, 10. How did we get that?
I added 2.
We add 2 to all the x values. What did it create?
A 1 to 1.
A 1 to 1. Right? So we have the mappings here, the relation between x values and the y values that create a function with different types of mapping. We have the
1 to 1.
1 to 1,
1 to many.
1 to many,
Many to 1.
many to 1,
Many to many.
many to many. All right. Taken, right? So remember when we started, I said to you about the order pairs?
Yes.
Good. So we're taking the order pairs out of the mapping diagram. Good. So we have some order pairs here. What does this value represent?
X.
X. And the other value represent?
Y.
Y. Good. So in every pair, we have an X value and a Y value. So let's create our mapping. Please call all the X values.
0.
0,
1.
1.
5.
Okay, let's do it in order, just for order's sake.
5.
0, 1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5.
5. Do we have all of that in X?
Yeah.
Sure? We have a 0, 1, or 2, a 3, or 4, or 5 in the X values?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Let's get the Y values for 0.
1,
1.
For 1.
2.
1 we have 2. 1 is 4.
No, 4.
Uh-huh.
2. 2. 2.
2 to 2.
3, 4.
4.
4.
3 to 4.
4 to 6.
And 4 to...
6.
You notice we have 2 4s?
Yeah.
So we don't need to write 2 4s. We don't want to write 2 4s. We just need a 4 and a 2. Good. So 0 to 1. 1 went to 4. 2 went to
2.
2. 3.
3 to 4.
3 to 4. 4.
To 6.
4 to 6.
And 5 to 2.
And 5 to 2. Good?
Yes,
So we have the order pairs and we created a mapping. So with that mapping, what would we get there? Would we get a 1 to 1?
no, miss.
No. Would we get a 1 to many?
No.
No. Shamar? 1 to many. Do we have 1 here going to many over here?
No.
No. Do we have a many to many?
Yeah.
Or do we have a 1 to many? Or a many to 1, sorry. Do we have many leaving from here going to 1 here?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have many here going to 1. Right? We have many here going to 1.
Yeah.
So we did create a many to 1. Right? Out of the order pairs. Right? So, as we said earlier, relation is basically a set of order pairs. These are the order pairs where they have X and Y values. The function is a specific type of relations where we were looking, under the function we were looking at mapping. And the 4 different types of mapping we have there.
1 to
1 to 1,
1 to many.
1 to many,
Many to
many to 1,
Many to many.
and many to many. Right? And it depends on, from your relation, what comes out of your relation to create your function for you to even know what type of mapping it is. Think you understand that?
Yes, miss.
Yes, yes.
So simple. As when we started it, I really asked you a question in terms of male student and a female student always seen together having conversation, and so it was a relation created there, right? And as I was asking, if you had a wedding or a party or something, your family would normally say, well, some persons would normally say there is a function that we're going to, or we have a function, right? So for this afternoon, function and relation basically goes hand in hand, because the function cannot actually go without the relation. And as for today, we look at mapping. There are 3 other types, but we're not working on that. we did not work on that. We just work on the mapping aspect of the function and relation. Right? So we had a very simple and easy afternoon. We didn't even have any writing, right? Just simple recall and to remember that the basic functions on the mapping, right? So guys, you have a blessed afternoon. Do enjoy, and see you on Friday for your other session for critical maths. Good afternoon. Later.